Okay, so this is setting up the trap after we've taken the wheels off.
Okay, so you should be able to just pull up the first side, and once you have that all the way unfolded, pull up, kind of, there we go. Pull both parts at the same time, and you can lift it straight up now.
Okay.
This is when it gets a little tricky. But inside here, lift up one of the panels, and the tricky part is getting it past this on the side here, but you can force it through. All right, and if you would come get a close-up of this. So when you have one side up, there's these clamps on the side here. So you're gonna pull those up, and they snap right in place like that. Do that on both sides. Okay. All right, and then you'll do the exact same thing with the other end. Same clamps, same thing. Okay, so now it's all set up. Then you find a good place, and I'm not sure, since I haven't been up there, where is a good place to set it, but you'll need to set it up against some protection most likely. So let's say, maybe up against the house.
Okay.
Just put it up against there. And I don't like to cover my traps. How does your dog feel about crates? Is she crate trained at all?
Long time ago, but not very much.
So she might be okay with going into it.
Okay.
And the reason I don't cover my traps is because I find a lot of dogs don't like to go into things that they can't see out the other end.
Mm-hmm.
Cats love it, but dogs don't like to go into things that they can't see out the other end. So instead what I do is I try to get some brush built up against the side and make sure nothing is really sticking through here that would interfere with the trap closing. But I like to, kind of build it up along the side so it seems like it's protected, but it's not enclosed. Right, so then when you want to set the trap, there's these two rings on the front. You need to pull them both up at the same time, and then with your third hand, you're pulling up on this door. And you can only do it when you have these all the way up. This is the part that everybody can't figure out, so if you can get a close-up on this lever here goes to the trip plate. You'll see it moving back, up and down back there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to set on the lever of the door right here. So that the door lever is going to set against that. And sometimes it takes a little adjusting to make it stay. Okay, so the trap is now set. And I should be able to set it off with one finger. If I can't set it off with one finger, then something is probably in the way. And you need to double check. If I can press on this one finger and it closes, I know I'm good to go. So just flip that up again. There we go. Okay, so then the food goes here in the back. And when you open up this, there'll be chunks of it. You're going to want to get most of it right about 4 inches in, right at the back of that trip plate, but not underneath it. And what I would typically recommend is to take a little square of cardboard and set it on the back of that trip plate and then put the food on top of that.
What about just opening the can and putting the can there?
You can do that, but then they may cut them. They may cut their mouth on the
Okay.
can.
Okay.
I prefer to take it out. I mean, it probably isn't all that risky.
Okay.
But you take the juice though after you put the meat in there, and you drip the juice like from back here, let's say, drip juice all the way up through the front of the trap, like that. And you can even leave a couple of pieces right outside the trap there and a couple of pieces right outside back here. And if those are eaten, but those aren't eaten, that kind of tells you that she's trap shy or maybe it's wildlife. Let's see, what else? If there's snow on the ground, is there snow on the ground where they're going to be setting it?
Maybe.
So what I would do is I would run it, kind of rub it back and forth like this on the ground until there's enough snow in there that this wire is all covered with snow, but not enough that it would keep that trip plate from closing,
Okay.
from setting on. And she can test that. When she tests it with her finger, it should still be able to close pretty easily. And that way, they can't really tell that it's a trap because you're not seeing the bottom, you're not seeing the cage at the bottom.
What about putting in like any of like a shirt of mine or something?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Make sure to keep it up front though, so
Okay.
that it doesn't ever get tangled up in the trip plate back here.
Okay.
Something that smells like you up along in here.
Okay.
If you happen to catch wildlife, basically, if it's a skunk, then the best thing to do is throw a blanket over the entire trap, and then they're kind of as tame as kitty cats. Just don't scare them, and hopefully you won't get sprayed. We've managed to do this many times without getting sprayed. So just be delicate, just be quiet and gentle with them, and hopefully you won't get sprayed. But throwing a blanket over it is the best thing to do.
What about a bobcat? That's most likely.
Never
By us.
caught.
Okay.
I've never caught any cats in the trap, bobcat or mountain lion.
Okay.
I think they're just too aware of the human scent.
Okay.
But if you do call animal, call the Department of Wildlife.
Okay.
I wouldn't let it out on your own.
Okay.
Especially, I mean, obviously if it's a mountain lion.
Yeah, that's for sure.
The only other thing, the most likely thing you would catch is a raccoon. And
Okay.
just when you put some gloves on and let it out, they'll run off as quickly as they can get out
Okay.
of there.
And then taking it apart is just the reverse of
Yeah,
just lift up the
taking it
clamps
apart.
and
Yep. So you will do the clamps on both sides. If you do this end, you can go ahead and put it back inside. Again, you're gonna have to fidget with it a little bit to get it in there.
okay. And then this side,
That is not supposed to be sticking up.
lift the clamp.
Oh wait, this one goes last actually.
Okay. All right, so that end goes last.
Yeah, the door end goes last.
Okay.
The trip plate end goes in first.
Okay.
Gotta get the chain out of the way. It's actually harder to take it apart than it is to put it together.
Okay, so just make sure the chain's out off to the side.
We're good.
And
That
that
one
goes down.
down. And then I believe either way you can fold it. I take that back. I think the side with the chain has to come down first.
Okay.
This is the chain here, so
Okay.
that comes in.
There we go. Side with the chain goes down first.
And then you can
There's
just
nothing over.
fold it over. The handles are kind of sticking up there, but there we go. And there's
Okay.
actually a little clip here. Oh, here it is. This will go over just to keep it folded shut.
Okay.
There's one on this end too. So that will go over there just to keep it shut.
Okay. And then the wheels.
Wheels. Put them on either end. here. That
Okay.
one, so they overlap a little bit.
Very good.
Okay. That is the trap. And she may want to call me a little bit more about disguising the trap. She may have some questions about that.
Okay.
But I'd probably need to see pictures of where she plans to put it.
Gotcha.